Hi, my name is Ashley Crowder. I'm the co-founder and CEO of VNTANA. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. We are going to talk about how you can use 3D on e-commerce and social media to increase sales and improve engagement and just create an overall better customer experience. We have entered into Web 3.0. When the internet first started, Web 1.0 in the 90s to the 2000s, it was really just this 2D click and type. Accenture has a really interesting report about this. We then kind of moved into Web 2.0 from 2000 to 2019, and this was the big push to mobile. You know, everyone needed to become mobile ready. Everyone was rushing to get their website compatible with mobile. And everyone was interacting through a touch screen. Now, in 2022 and beyond, we've gone into the spatial web. Everything can be 3D, and we can interact in 3 dimensions, which is amazing. And it's not only just augmented reality and virtual reality, but it's also 3D on the web. Your website can actually have depth and dimension. And that's what we're going to talk about taking advantage of today. Customers actually expect 3D and AR, or augmented reality, which is AR for short. In 2020, 83 million consumers in the US were already actively using AR on a monthly basis, and it's even more in 2021. 61% of consumers say they actually prefer retailers who offer augmented reality because it gives them such a better understanding of the product that they're able to make that purchase confidently. And 40% of consumers actually said they would pay more for products that they could customize in augmented reality. Consumers are wanting this and expecting it, and they're already using it. 3D is no longer optional. It is driving serious ROI. Studies have shown that having 3D on your website actually doubles conversion rate and reduces returns by 40%. We helped Dignitas, the esports team, actually launch 3D on their Shopify site for their merchandise. And the first week it was live, their sales increased by 24x. So this is real. And it's not that hard to implement. We were up and running from the beginning of the project to live in just a few weeks. So it doesn't have to be a long, drawn out process. You can upgrade to 3D relatively quickly. Now, if you take that one step further and use augmented reality so people can use their phone to actually visualize that product within their home, companies like Houzz have seen consumers are 11 times more likely to make a purchase, which is huge. You can see if that couch fits in your living room. You can see if that purse is actually the size you think. For Adidas, we helped them do over 2,500 3D shoes for their app. So if you download the Adidas app, you can actually see the 3D shoes and you can place them on your desk. They have since started testing AR try-on. So when you hold up your phone, you can see the shoe over your foot. But when we first launched, it was just AR placement. And even that increased sales so much that they now are expanding into all of their other verticals, apparel and other accessories. So now if you want to try it, this is an interactive webinar. So you can actually scan that QR code, and I'm going to stop sharing my desktop. And I'm going to share my phone screen. So if you scan the QR code, it's going to take you to a website. You can click on the purse. It's my favorite, the Hermes. And you can see you can actually move it in 3D. You can look at every single angle. I also have, the 2D images. But with the 3D, you can actually click the cube in the upper left corner. And now I can place it on my desk. Awesome. And you can see this is actually appearing true to size. So I can actually understand exactly how big this purse is. The number one reason that purses are returned is it was bigger or smaller than the customer thought. And so this is how this can really, really help. Great. Now I'm going to stop sharing. come back to you all. All right. Great. And I'll send these slides out after the webinar so you guys can all share and try it as well if you didn't have enough time for that. So apart from the web, you also have all of the social media platforms and ad platforms have invested billions of dollars to enable 3D, which is amazing because it gives you a way to leverage their technology again, without having to build custom apps for your own brand. You know, Adidas is one brand that a lot of people shop on. If you're a smaller brand, obviously you don't want to build an app, but you should take advantage of what Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and others now offer. In general, 3D is just more social. Studies have shown that AR campaigns are more likely to be shared organically. We know how expensive ads are on social, so the more organic sharing that you have, the better, the more money you're saving. Ads have also shown that, or studies have also shown that AR increases ad recall by 70%. So if your goal is for someone to remember your product, AR is huge. 3D ads also have an average of 85 seconds dwell time, which is more than 3 times a 2D ad. And they have a 33% click through to purchase rate. So again, it's really about adding dollars to that bottom line. Michael Kors and Instagram did an awesome AR try-on experience. They were one of the first back in 2018. And they did a real test. They tested a video ad with the link to purchase against the same video that offered the AR try-on and then had the link to purchase. And this proved that there was a 20.4 point lift in ad recall. There was a 5-point lift in favorability, a 3.9 point lift in purchase intent, and just a 14% incremental lift in purchases overall for the AR ad versus just the video. And what's great is you can actually build these today using Spark AR. That's the tool for Facebook and Instagram. And they have all types of templates. So you don't have to be a developer. If you have the right 3D models, you can drop in the glasses, choose the glasses template, and it's really not, rocket science. But if you really don't want to deal with any of that, we can also help you create those. We've created a number of these AR apps. One we did also for Dignitas. So this is pretty cool. So it was kind of a whole cohesive campaign. There was the 3D on the e-com site, and then they also did the ads on Facebook and Instagram where you could actually try on some of the hats, which was pretty cool. So if any of you have your phone on you now, you can actually scan this code. It's going to take you directly to Instagram, and you can try on the hat. So I'll give you guys a second. And what's great, of course, Facebook tracks everything, but if you create a Spark AR filter, you can go on to your Spark lenses and it tracks everything. So it tells you how many people did it, who took photos, who shared, all that good stuff. And that's just regular organic. You can also put ad dollars behind it. And studies have shown that 3D ads on Facebook and Instagram perform 28% better than video ads. So if you think about it, Facebook and Instagram, this is a new feature for them. They're wanting to push it. New features always basically cost less per eyeball. So if you're looking at your ad spend, doing AR ads is going to get you more eyeballs for the same amount of money. Snapchat has all those features, plus they can actually do shoe try on, which is pretty awesome. And again, it's a template. So you can build these in Lens Studio, which is Snapchat's builder. It looks pretty much identical to Spark AR. So if you understand the Facebook, Instagram, you can understand the Snapchat one. If you have Snapchat, you can also scan this QR code for Snap, and it will take you directly to the shoe try-on app. You can see I was walking around. It tracks it really well. I was just wearing socks, so I was not wearing those shoes. And what's great about this is, again, it has shown a huge increase in purchases. Snap just released their big report, which I can also include, as a follow-up to this webinar. And with all of their studies across all the brands, there's been a 94% increase in conversion with AR. Lacoste is another example of someone who's used the Snap AR try-on. Their goal was to reach the millennial audience at scale, use AR to generate awareness of this new collection, which is a collaboration with National Geographic, and generate action intent for the launch. And it succeeded. So what they did was they created this video to get people excited to click, which then sent them to the shoe AR try-on. And they got a huge positive ROAS. So it really met all of their goals. And what's really exciting is Snap is starting to work on clothing try-on. It is just in beta. It is not available yet. But it is very exciting because I know many of you sell apparel as well. And this is kind of the holy grail of if consumers could just try on clothes at home, they'd be more comfortable purchasing. So here's an example. It's very futuristic and funky. So again, this is just in beta, but you can try it out if you open your Snap camera and scan the code. But it's super exciting and promising. And what's cool too about Snap is the Snap camera is a lot of other places, not just in their app. It's integrated into Zoom. I'm sure during COVID and quarantine, you were sick of everyone doing the different filters in the Zoom meetings. It's also on Twitch, Google Hangouts, Skype, and more. So if you create an AR filter for Snap, it doesn't have to live just in the app. It could live in all these other places as well. So next is Google Swirl. So Google has started offering 3D ads as well. This is pretty cool. This is one for New Balance, and there's another phone. The stats I have here on the left is actually a perfume company, Garlane, who created an immersive 3D swirl ad. So Google Swirl is the name of the product. And they had 3 times the amount of engagement, 34% longer dwell time, 17.2 increase in purchase intent, which again, that's the goal at the end of the day. Adidas Latam also used Google Swirl to create a 3D and AR shoe experience, and they had 4 times increased engagement on its Ultra Boost campaign. So again, these are, across the board, whatever platform, if you're using 3D and AR, it is getting you higher engagement and higher purchase intent versus 2D. So now if you want to check this one out, you can actually scan this QR code. I'm going to click the example. So this is what a Google Swirl ad could look like. So as you're scrolling a page, it auto animates that 3D model to kind of catch someone's attention. And then I can click and rotate and move it all around. So that same purse. And then of course you have the action intent, which would take you to the website to go make that purchase. There we go. And then I do want to bring up Unity. Gaming has obviously become huge. Unity is one of the world's largest game engines. If you have a game on your phone, it was probably built in Unity. 50% of all mobile games were, and 60% of all AR, VR is built in Unity. Developers make their money by selling ads, and Unity has 3D ads available today, and very soon we'll have AR ads as well. Their platform reaches 1.9 billion devices. So this is kind of just a whole another platform where you can use your 3D assets. Not to mention, people are starting to do in-game purchases. So once you, again, invest in 3D, you actually have a whole new revenue stream where you could partner with game engines and games to sell your 3D assets. And of course, NFTs have exploded. That's a whole nother beast, but another way that you can leverage and monetize these 3D digital files. At the end of the day, gaming just can't be ignored. The esports market is valued at over $160 billion, and it's growing fast. 4 out of 5 Americans played video games in the last 6 months. Video games are where kids are meeting and hanging out. It is no longer at the mall. It is virtually in games like Roblox and Fortnite. Fortnite specifically brought in $1.8 billion in 2019, exclusively in microtransactions, meaning people playing the game were making digital purchases in game. So I should be able to buy Puma shoes for my avatar. Why not? Like, this is where everything is going. And then the last kind of topic about the different places you could use this is digital influencers. Lil Michaela is blown up over the past couple of years. She's completely CGI. She has over 3 million Instagram followers. And she has done collaborations with a number of luxury brands like Givenchy, Burberry, Chanel, Calvin Klein, and more. And she's the beginning of a much larger trend. There's already more and more digital influencers. So again, if you have these 3D files, they could actually dress digital influencers, which I know is sounds like a crazy futuristic thing to think about, but it's here today and it's happening now, which is weird and exciting. So how do you get started? You first need 3D models of your product, and there's a few different ways that you can go about that. First, if your team designs your products, you might use one of these programs. And so I would start by going to ask your designers or your digital product creation team, do they use Browseware or Clo for apparel? Do they use Moto, Rhino, or Keyshot for footwear? Just ask if any of these programs sound familiar, because if you have these 3D files, it's great. You don't have to start from scratch. If you don't, that's okay too. There's a few different ways to go about it. So the next is photogrammetry or 3D scanning. This is really great for shoes and purses. So we can actually take multiple images of a product and create a 3D model from that. Phones are continuing to get better and better. The new iPhone 12 has a LiDAR sensor. So a lot of new startups have been, springing up, trying to take advantage of that to be able to even just do this with an iPhone. The technology is not quite there yet to make it perfect with an iPhone, but this is a really great option if you don't have 3D models today, or you have something the size of about a shoe or a purse. When it gets too big, shipping to a studio like this might get too expensive. The other thing to watch out for is that photogrammetry and 3D scanning is not very good for shiny things because the light reflects way too much. So jewelry can't be 3D scanned, but shoes, purses, great. Next, once you have that 3D file, and you can also hire 3D artists to create it as well. And VNTANA is happy to help source. We have a partner network of 3D scanners around the world that we've vetted and can hook you up with. And then we also help create 3D files if needed. So next is understanding the different 3D file requirements for each platform. So unfortunately, each platform is slightly different. You'll see the one common file type is GLTF. So that is definitely what we recommend. GLTF is very quickly becoming the JPEG of 3D, if you will. We're actually part of a nonprofit called the Kronos Group, and we are all pushing for standards in 3D and all trying to push GLTF forward and make it the best possible 3D file format for everybody. So that is definitely what I recommend. Next, you'll see the size limit kind of varies across the board. Google is the smallest, needs to be under 2 megabytes. Most of those design programs I showed on my previous slide, they're going to be in the 500 megabytes or bigger because all those design programs are built for manufacturing in mind. So they have every single detail that you need. So some optimization is going to have to happen to get down to these sizes. And then you've got polygon count and texture size. At the end of the day, all of those things are just about making sure the file is small enough so it's going to load quickly on mobile and web and within these platforms. So just to go a little bit deeper and explain what these are, because you've never heard of polygon, you're like, what are you talking about? So the way a 3D digital model is made up is a bunch of polygons, either squares, rectangles, which are called quads, or triangles. So you can see on the left, this is an original file. It's almost 278 megabytes and 224,000 polygons, a bunch of small ones to make all that detail work. And then you have materials and textures on top, which give it that fabric look. On the right, you see an optimized model. That's only 2.8 megabytes, so much smaller, and only about 5,000 polygons. You can see much bigger triangles, but it's still making up that same amount of detail of the shirt. So I'm going to play this one more time. So you can see the actual shirt looks exactly the same on both sides, but it's this kind of underneath that's optimized and different. So this can now actually be used across all those platforms. And this is what VNTANA does. So we built software that automatically optimizes these 3D models for you so that you can instantly use them on the web and on all these social media and ad platforms. Next is you want a 3D web viewer so you can embed it onto your e-commerce site. We also automatically create this as well, so that you can literally just copy that iframe at the bottom and embed it on a website. Very similar to how you would embed a Vimeo video or a YouTube video. Works exactly the same way. We also have an API, so you can pull a JS component if you prefer. And our web viewer has a bunch of editable capabilities, so you can adjust the lighting, you can adjust the background, all of those different features to get the exact look that you want. So the last thing I want to leave you with is a study by AIB. They did the AR's buyer guide, and I thought this was a really great way to kind of explain the different AR and 3D capabilities. So first that we talked about is 3D. So no camera, just an interactive 3D model, whether it's with your finger on a phone or a mouse on a desktop, and you can interact with this product in real time. Next is the self-facing camera. So think selfie. So anything on the face, like the hat try on, you could do glasses try on, all of that is kind of that self-facing camera. And last, you have the world-facing camera. So that is what you would want. It's how you would explain how you want a like shoe try-on app or to have, you know, the furniture try-on within your home. But these are kind of the three main categories. All can be used in a variety, you know, upper funnel, mid funnel, and lower funnel of marketing. It all depends on the experience that you create. So lastly, just want to leave you with the fact that you should be trying within your organization to have a single source of truth 3D file that can be used across the entire retail value chain, from design all the way to e-commerce and sales and marketing. This is going to save you tons of money and time versus the sales and marketing team over here hiring agencies to recreate 3D when your design team is over here and already has a lot of these files. It'll increase your speed to market. It will also give you consistency just across the organization and allow you to even use the 3D for B2B sales that will then have the exact same image, exact same 3D that your e-com eventually uses. So you get consistency everywhere. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, my name is Ashley Crowder. If you have any questions, you can email me at ashley@vntana.com or visit us at vntana.com for more information. Thank you.